check, check. Check, 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 check. Hello. Hello, hello.
3 of us then. I was hoping there'd be more. Okay.
And then he mentioned as like tech education committee doing stuff with me and
Yeah,
working off of this.
that would be great.
So,
That would be great.
yeah.
That would be great.
Okay. All right, sounds good. I'll talk to you soon. All right, get Theobald going. That one is much more important to me.
Do we have anybody watching online? I see 2 participants. Is that just us?
Thank you. Okay, bye.
Elena, okay. Hey, Elena. Now there's 3. Sweet, we're getting some people on there. Marcia. You can kind of just pull that down if you want. Then I can kind of chat. Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, that works. Awesome. Okay. You on the phone? Okay. All right, well, we do probably need to start because I do have people online watching and we're recording. Are we recording? Thank you. Oh, you're fine. I just feel bad. I think we're,
That's it. I'm gonna double check.
no, I was gonna say, I want to make sure we get this recorded because this is something we may want to share again. I was really hoping there would be more people here because this is something agents really struggle with. Yeah.
Well, I watched the YouTube video of it.
Yeah.
From somewhere else in the nation. But it's so much easier to learn things
In person. That's right. Well, since you're here, you get in-person paper products or take homes or takeaways or whatever you want to call it. I'll give you these. I'm sorry it's so small, but I wanted it on one page. If you want it bigger, I'm happy to share the digital version with you and you can make it your own. You can make a copy and make it your own, fill it in if you want to. So, okay, so about the database, as we, Lonnie really, he started off the year with the top 40, our top 40 challenge and coming up with our top 40. Cool. Well, that's just part of the challenge, which was identify them. And that's all he asked us to do. Now, my thought was I'll follow up with what do we do with these people? Now, that phone is really loud for some reason. I need to figure out how to turn the ringer down. It's okay. Maybe it won't ring too much. That does distract me. But, okay, so we've identified the top 40, cool, but I'm going to talk to you about the whole database and we can give special care and special love to those top 40. But the reason the database is our business, when you're in real estate, you don't have a physical product. We don't have a storefront people come and buy from. We don't have an inventory. We own nothing except our database. And so it's like Lonnie said, when an agent has worked their business for decades and they have this big database, when they leave the business, they can sell that thing to another person. That is a business. Those leads, those people that have been cultivated and nurtured all those years. Hey, Glenda. That can be sold. That's okay. So your database is the only thing we own. And so at the end of the day, I mean, just think about when you get to the end of your career, whenever that will be, how big of a database do you want? Do you have something that you could sell to someone else? Do you have something that you could hand off? Would it be worth anything? If we don't interact with our database, what happens is, if we don't interact with it systematically, what happens is it's kind of just like shooting into the wind or throwing spaghetti on a wall and hoping something sticks, which is what most agents do. They get really focused for a time. You need an outlet. There's one. You might have to sit in the front row. There's one up here, one up here. So a lot of agents do just do it sporadically. They get really focused at the beginning of the year and come like January 28th. What are we at? Right there? That's tomorrow. They start to lose focus already. And they start to fall back into their old ways of just sporadic. And so if that's you, don't feel bad. You're in good company there, but let's get more organized. What I'm always in awe, and I fall in that category. I am there. So I'm teaching this class because I've discovered it's not that hard to organize ourselves in such a way that we can actually interact with our database on a systematic way. I used to look at people, like for instance, I have a sister-in-law in real estate and she is super organized. She follows up, she takes good notes, she's systematic, and she does really well with that. And I'm always in awe going, how did your brain do that? That's not fair. And so I'm always in awe of people that do that. Not that I don't know how you all run yourselves, but another person that I've just discovered, Shelby Eckert does that. She's all into her, she tracks every class she comes to. I think she tracks the minutes she's in class. I think she tracks everything. That's how her brain works. And I'm like, oh. Lonnie, I've watched him. I don't know his system either. I don't know his world and how he organizes himself, but I know that when he's driving in the car, he thinks of people, he calls them, he texts them. He's always interacting with his people. And it's very effective. It works. So, so when it comes to our database, like I said, it is our business. It's our baby. And the goal is we need to make one. You need to grow it. So the bigger the database, the bigger the business we're going to have. That's, the theory there. So we need to be adding people to it every day. And then we need to be nurturing it. We need to be loving on our database. And so that's what I've got for us today is how, okay, cool. How do we do that? Here, see, I have plenty. You don't need it. You don't need it. Yep, there you go. Yeah, we won't need it. I've put everything either in paper or on the screen so that today is kind of just in theory. We're going to work for an hour because I have an 11 a.m. Zoom call I've got to scoot to. So we will for sure be done by 11, which is fine. An hour is good. So today's just really about the overview of it. And we are, okay, where was I? Okay, so the first thing, 36 touch. Now, what they found is that 36 touches for each person in your database is kind of it's the way we stay top of mind. And that's what, they've found when they do the MREA book and when they study the top agents, this is what they're doing. They're interacting and touching their people in their database 36 times a year. That's the magic number they found. Some people have more, some people do less, but the magic number is 36 touches in a year. And so different touches in different ways. And so what I'm going to show you is how we do that. What are those touches? When are they? Here you go. Here you go, ma'am. Okay. So the first thing I want us to look at is the white sheet of paper. I should have labeled it, but I didn't have that. The single sheet of paper. I'm going to throw it up here on the screen. And there we go. Hopefully the people at home and on the recording can see that. This, if you look at it, this is what our 36 touches can look like. Because if you make 36 phone calls to these people, they're going to say, please remove me from your list and never call me again. That's too many phone calls. If you send them 36 emails, if you send them 36 birthday cards, they're going to say, you've lost your mind. So it's obviously we're going to mix them up. We're going to mix up the touches. And so what we're going to do is we make 4 quarterly phone calls. So once a quarter, we're going to call our people. And we really like the D2 method. That means it's from BOLD. It means do the database to. So 2 letters. So every week, what that means is every week of the year, you're calling everybody in your database with a name. Now you can choose first names or last names. You get to choose. Whatever you choose, you're going to keep that all year long. I do last names. So everybody with the last name that starts with an H, well, I guess we're down here under C and K. We're almost into February. So for this week, everybody with the last name that starts with a C and starts with a K. Okay, guess what? My database right now, because I've really cleaned it up, it's under 300 people right now. It's not amazing yet. It's decent. I don't have that many C's and K's to call. It's not a crazy number when I actually dig into it. And I have a whole week to do it. So C and K, and then I'm going to text people with the last name of I. Probably even fewer people there, maybe 1 or 2 with the last name of I. And I'm going to send them a text. So I'm going to do that I'm going to follow this, and that's 4 quarterly calls. The text, I'm not sure how that factors in. It may be a bonus because obviously it just says the calls. The texting, they kind of added in after they did the DTD2. Because it really was do the database 2. And now they're making it 3 or 2.5. Okay, so that's do we understand the calls? Now let me pause for a second and say, what kind of calls can we make? Because I know that's the problem. That's the challenge. People are like, okay, cool, 4 times a year. I can do that. What am I going to say? Well, I've got some ideas and I'd love to hear your ideas. So at the beginning of the year here, what I'm doing is I'm calling people, I'm catching up, seeing how how the year is off to a great start. I could talk about the Chiefs now. If I know they're a Chiefs fan, that's an easy thing to talk about. But then here's what I'm doing. One of the things I'm doing is I'm saying, you know what? And this is true because I'm working on my 36 touch. I'm telling them, you know what? I realize I'm making it a goal this year to send out birthday cards. I'm going to get a lot better at it. And I realize I don't have your birthday. What's your birthday? Because I want to send you a card. Now, and of course, they're going to give me their birthday. March 13th. Okay, March 13th. Awesome. And what about your husband? When's his birthday? Oh, cool. Awesome. I'm writing that down. And so, they don't have any problem giving that to you because I'm thinking in mind, first of all, I'm thinking about they all have a birthday. So I can call them and text them on their birthday. I can even send them a card. That's another touch. So I'm thinking ahead. So that's one thing you can do. And it's a great time of year to do it. You can do that anytime throughout the year, but it's kind of cool to do it at the beginning of the year. That's one thing you can do. You can also, if you can figure out how to sometimes I go through and go, you know what, I'm updating my files and I realize I don't have a good mailing address for you. Now, if I sold them the house and I know where they live, but if I didn't sell them a house yet, I may not have their address. I have some people, I don't have their emails. And so it's a time that you can call them and say, hey, I'm looking through and I'm realizing I have incomplete information for you. What's a great email address? Because sometimes I come across information I like to share with my friends and family. Where could I email you? Don't ask them, can I have your email address? That's too easy for them to say, that's okay. No problem. No, thank you. So don't leave it yes or no. Just say, what's a good email for you? What's a good mailing address for you? When's your birthday? Open-ended questions. You can call them and just do a care call. Check in on them. See how they're doing. Maybe you haven't called them in a while. It's a time to just check in and say, hey, what's going on? You're important to me. I realize I haven't reached out in a while. I'm so sorry. What's going on in your world? It's a care call. You can invite them to an event, maybe if you have an event going on, maybe hopefully at some point in one of those 4 phone calls, one of those, you might invite them to some kind of an event that you're holding or that the office is holding or something you learn about. Maybe you can offer them your vendor list that you have a vendor list that, you've got painters and plumbers and electricians and carpet people and all those things. Do you need any of that? I'm just letting my friends and family know I've got a pretty extensive vendor list. And if you ever need anything as you're doing your home projects or spring cleanup or anything like that, if you run into a need, keep me in mind. I've got people. So you come from contribution, you're coming to give, you're not coming to take. And if you can keep that in your mind going, I have things that these people need and want. Then it takes the icky feeling of calling to sell. We're not calling to sell. We're building relationships. We're getting to know our people better. And so if we can, what are your thoughts? What other things could you call for? Hey, Jenny. There you go. What do you guys like to call about? Is there anything I haven't mentioned that you guys like to bring up in your conversation?
If I haven't talked to them or don't really know what's going on, I often will pull up their social media just to kind of go, ooh, there's something they posted about in the last 2 weeks. So I can go, I saw your post and I just didn't get a chance to say, congratulations, your kid won an academic award.
Yes.
I thought that was so cool. Or, right.
Absolutely.
If you talk about their children, they just like that. So
they do love that. They do love that. Connect.
Because I had one that just went to college, I'm able to call a lot of parents and go, hey, how's your heart doing with your kids in college?
Right.
Yeah, this is how I'm feeling. And they will be like, yeah, blah, blah, like, and then I can easily go, let's schedule a coffee and talk about it. And
Yeah.
they do.
Yes,
They're like, oh, I'd love to talk about my kid.
yes,
So
absolutely.
that's my go-to is their kids.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Yeah, I do. I had a call with the guy the other day and it turned into, he goes, hey, I saw y'all went on a cruise. I'm like, there it is. Let's talk about cruises. Yeah, we did. There was a hurricane and there was this, that, the other. How about you? What cruises do you have booked? And he has 3 cruises booked this year. I didn't know. Cool. Well, how do you do it? Do you plan them on your own? Do you go through a travel agent? They know all those answers. And I'm having a conversation, building that relationship, just getting to know them a little better. He's getting to know me. And of course we say, oh, by the way, so you're calling with something, you're coming from contribution, the Ford method, whatever, have a call. Here's the thing. These are human beings. They're people. They're people, if they're in your database, you've met them. They're Mets. That's what we call Mets. You've met them. They're not cold. We're not cold calling anybody. So if you just go, you know what, this is a person, I'm going to have a conversation. I have conversations with people all day, every day. Nothing scary about that. I'm going to have a conversation with a real life person. And it could be about kids and coffee and cruises and vacations and all of the things. And then at the end, my script would be, oh, by the way, who do you know that might be, oh, by the way, and then whatever you want to say about real estate. It's kind of like an afterthought. It's kind of like, oh, well, I got you. I've got some big goals for real estate this year. And I was just reaching out to, I just didn't know if you might know anybody that is looking to buy or sell a house this year. And kind of just, well, no, not really. What? Okay, no problem. Just keep me in mind. That's my style. Some people go straight forward and they're like, well, who do you know? Well, if you did know, they go in and then that's not my style. Find your style, find what works for you, stay top of mind. Try to throw in real estate, or sometimes they bring it up. Every call doesn't have to be about real estate though. It doesn't.
If you ask about their job, they usually ask about.
That's true. And a lot of times they ask you, how's the market?
Yeah,
figure that out. You're going to run into Quick Trip and somebody's going to see your name tag or your shirt or your car or whatever and go, hey, how's the market? You need to know what to say when you're in there just getting coffee, not even thinking about it because your mind has gone 1,000 directions. You're not even thinking about real estate. You need to know what to say. Have you ever been caught off guard by that? Lucy, yeah. Yes. Gary Keller says it's always a great time to buy the right property. It's always, every market is a great market for somebody. Yep.
They were like, want to buy a house, and then once they talked more, I'm like, I think what you really need to do is be looking for property. I said,
Okay.
because, and then I told her, I said, you're never gonna find land prices never gonna go down. I mean, that's my personal experience, because we buy land a lot. So I'm just like, land is never gonna go down. So if you
Well, it's as cheap now as it probably ever will be.
exactly.
Same with houses, honestly.
Sad thing is, a few years ago, honestly, you could get, there was 18 acres by us, and it was 110, and we just couldn't do it at that time.
Mhm.
And now the person that bought it is now selling it for 255. I'm like,
Oh gosh. Yeah.
like, whoa.
Yeah. That's how it is. Absolutely. So we're going to make calls. Four calls, part of our 36 touch. 4 of those are going to be phone calls. And then I didn't do the math, but the text is bonus, and texts are easier. They're easier. Hey, how about them Chiefs? It could be anything. It's just staying top of mind that when your name pops up on their phone. And by the way, I don't know Android. I don't know the Android world, but in iPhone world, you can put a picture on your profile. And so, when you call somebody, their picture pops up. Well, your picture, and it's the full size picture. So when my sister calls me, her face is right there, like the whole thing. And so I've done the same. So whenever I'm calling or texting somebody, now maybe they can talk to me and maybe they can't, but there's my face, there's my name, it's popped up on their phone for a second. Anyway, that's bonus there. Okay, so calls and texts, we're going to do 4 quarterly calls and texts. We're going to send 26 emails. That's 2 per month. Now that math doesn't math because 2 emails a month is 24, not 26. So that just means somewhere along the way, throw in another couple of emails to hit your 26 emails a year. So what kind of emails can we send? It has up here monthly market update. That's one thing we can do. What kind of emails can we send? Got-
Holiday.
What's that?
Holiday.
Holidays. Yes, absolutely. Send them a holiday. There's lots of holidays. And you could even do the crazy ones. Happy Hamburger Day. Happy Pet Your Dog Day. Like, it's up to you. Whatever is your personality, go for it. If I'm sure you're on these email lists from vendors, you know, the market moment. Sometimes I click on those, sometimes I don't, because sometimes I'm prepared for dry and boring. But if it says National Pet Your Dog Day or Knit Your Dog a Sweater Day, I'm clicking on that. There's probably a funny picture. I need to see it. That's me. You do you, but so it can be anything you want it to be. Now, as long as you're branding yourself, your face is in there, your stuff is in there, you know, and it's even better when there's a call to action. If there's something that they can do, you know, and I'm not saying they have to do that every time, but think about that. Do something that makes them act. But anyway, happy National Cheeseburger Day. Where's your favorite cheeseburger from? Text me your favorite place because I need some new places. Do you see how that's more interactive and more top of mind and relationship building than just, hey, happy cheeseburger day. Okay, yay. Yeah. Speaking of which, I really like Five Guys. I don't go there much, but I saw this meme that says Five Guys is a great place to go when you want a great burger and you're ready to stop having $78 or something like that. Like when you're ready to be done, like take your family there when you're ready to stop having $78. I thought that was funny. But anyway, off topic, I distract myself. So you can do that. And here's an easy one, guys. And Joe and Paul Fife are in charge of our tech committee. And so they are the ones that they know all about command and all that good stuff. And will be teaching us throughout the year on different things. One of the things command will do is when you put these people in your database, which is command under contacts, you can go to the smart plans, turn on a smart plan to send them things. For instance, if you can get their mailing address, if you know where they live, or if they're a buyer, maybe they rent and you know an area they want to buy in, you can go in there and put their address or their location, turn on the smart plan called monthly nurture, and every month they will get all on its own without, all you have to do is turn it on. You don't even have to, nothing. Add it to your library, apply it to this person. So if you're talking to Steve Jones and he lives in Harrisonville, okay, and he wants to stay in here, well, no, he lives in Harrisonville, send him stuff about his house. And you do that by, you have to put an address so it knows what area, and then turn on the monthly nurture smart plan, and it will send him something once a month for you. That's true. It is. So if he doesn't, click on it for a week, it'll be updated in a week. He can come back to it 3 weeks later and it will still be live. You're right. If you know somebody is wanting to move quickly, they're thinking about putting their house on the market in the spring. And so you want them to kind of be educated on the market right now. Put them on a bi-weekly monthly nurture. So it's going to send them 2 of those. Oh, so it just depends. I wouldn't send that to just everybody. They're going to unsubscribe because that is on there. That is an option. That keeps us compliant to have that unsubscribe down there. So there are other smart plans. So we can do the holiday emails. We can do the monthly nurtures. We can do, there's so many other, if you want to send out, and here's the other thing. You don't have to be a content creator to do this. I would say be a content stealer. And so one of the things I like to do is we get things from all sorts of people. We get things from vendors. We get things from like lenders, I should say, lenders, roofers. We're on their email list. You should be getting these emails. And if you're not, you know, you will, if you're newer, you're going to be getting these emails from other people. So like during the bad weather and all the ice we had, Royal Roofing sent out something that said, hey, be careful of ice forming in your roof. inside your roof, because when it melts, it's gonna drip and it looks like a leak, but it's not a leak. Something like that with pictures. So what did I do? I read through it. I understood it. I made it my own, made an email and sent it out to all my database. Took me 5 minutes to take their content and say, hey, but if you are worried about it and you need a great roofer, let me know. I've got a few I can send your way. So you don't have to think, because I know the biggest challenge in people's mind, what am I going to say? What am I going to write? What am I doing with this? Well, find something that spoke to you, find something that looks good to you and send it out. Some people love to dig in and find the, see, look, that's what happens when someone calls. That's Ryan. Ryan's calling. When you go in do you have an iPhone? When you go into your profile, you upload a picture there. You get to pick the picture. Yep. You can make it say Keller Williams. You can pick your phone number. You could, whatever picture you want there. Absolutely. So back to the emails. So don't overthink this. Don't overthink it. There are in command in the library. So what happens? Let me explain that real quick. So smart plans are those, it's that feature within command that will automate the emails. Automation is wonderful if we can get it to work right. And so what happens is all these, and there's probably 36 touches, I know there is, inside of command. So what happens is when you go to smart plans and you click on library, all these smart plans are going to pop up that you can download and use. Now you're going to want to edit them and make them your own, because it could say Bob and Shirley Smith out of Atlanta, Georgia with Keller Williams, yada, yada partners, yada, whatever. Obviously we don't want that. We're going to have to make it our own. It's a template. And you can, if you don't like something that they're saying, erase it, make it your own, but it's a template to start with. If you like it, if you don't like it, don't use it. What happens is these agents are out there and they are creating their own smart plans. You can upload anybody can upload a plan into the library. So just know that when you're clicking on these things, they're not from Keller Williams International, they're coming from other agents, which can be good. And then also just realize they're coming from agents. And so other human beings, and it works for them, may not work for you. So you can also see the ratings and how many times they've been downloaded. And so a lot of times I'll pick one that's, okay, this one's been downloaded 2,500 times. It must be a good one. Let me look at it. So anyway, that's another class for another day, but just know that command will do that. Command will let you, and you could sit there, it may take you a day, but what if it took you a day and you set up and scheduled out every email for the rest of the year? Would it be a day well spent? I think so. And the better you get with it, the faster you won't spend a day doing it. But I'll say sometimes for me in editing and picking and overthinking and all the things I do, it takes me a whole day to probably do that. Anyway, okay, back to 26 emails a year that we're gonna send them. An easy one is that birthday email, because you got their birthday, set them up. You can put them on a smart plan for a birthday, and you tell it when to start. Okay, March 13th, I scheduled that plan for that person to go out March 13th. Guess what? Next thing I know, in the evening of March 13th, I'm getting a text saying, thank you so much for that sweet email you sent. And I'm like, what did I send? Oh yeah, happy birthday. That kind of thing. Okay, 2 events per year. Now, what kind of events? People love going to events, or at least being invited to the event. This is a touch. What kind of events can we think of that we can invite people to? Pictures and okay. Yeah.
One that I wanted to do, I haven't done it. It's like my movie night.
Ooh. Oh, movie in the park. Wine and movies. Yeah. Yep. Mhm.
Well,
Moving in the park. How do you start that? How do you set that up?
it's a client appreciation, but it can easily become clients, friends, and family appreciation.
Yeah. It could be
Then-
VIPs.
Then you'll have a few clients there, but then your friends and family are there, they don't know.
Nobody knows the difference.
We
Um,
should invite the other people, and they're like coworkers, but
Yeah.
they're like, come have fun with us, and
We have a bunch of kids who love having fun, so.
And vendors, invite your vendors.
So don't overthink events. There are some teams and some agents that have been doing this a long time. They have a lot of money to put towards events. I've seen some that will rent out whole movie theaters and show like a private screening of, especially if you do it probably on an off night or a weekday or something. So renting out a whole theater and for a private screening of, I know last time I got invited to one of those, it was the Top Gun, the second Top Gun 2. And I really wanted to go because I didn't make it. But anyway, that's one thing. So you can go like over the top. I have heard of some teams that rent out, maybe not the whole zoo, but they'll invite a whole bunch of people to the zoo. Bring your family, hang out with us on our dime. They hand out t-shirts, like it's over the top. That's cool for them, good for them. And they get a lot of vendors to pay for that. But anyway, and by the way, get your vendors in on this to help pay for it. And so pictures in the park. Get a photographer with a little backdrop of some kind in a park. You don't have to rent the park. Maybe you have to pay $25 for the shelter house you want to reserve. Get some vendors to help you, buy some hot dogs, whatever. It doesn't have to be very expensive. And then invite people to come. Say, hey, I've got family photos in the park. Okay. You can put on, so other events, so you can do fun stuff like that. You can put on, I'm trying to think, easy and cheaper. Like we don't need to be spending a lot of money. Please don't spend a lot of money on these until you have more money to spend on them.
I do, I just started in gold,
Yep.
and I invited like 5 of my friends that are close friends. And one of them's a real estate agent, not with color, but I was like, I'll teach you how to do cookies, have fun.
There you
Come
go.
to my house, you can bring one person with you. And most of them none of them brought another person but one, and it was actually her kid, but it was fun. We had a really good time, and they're like, can we do this again? Can we invite other people to come? And so for me, they're not really clients, but they're my friends. So you could maybe do something, maybe have them over for dinner, just have some friends over for dinner and say they can invite. That's what Jesse had said, was invite one person. It's like, bring
Yeah.
somebody else with you.
Especially if you're just starting out.
Yeah.
Love it. I love it.
Something.
It's something.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it can be sponsored by Jenny's real estate business, you know?
Save money side, because it's really cheap when we do a lot of this too. We're part of several other agents.
There you go. There you go.
We partner with Paul, we partner with Laura, we partner with several other agents. There's like 2 or 3 people pay the expense of the photographer or something. They're hardly out anything.
Yep.
Come in and they sign in, and nobody really differentiates who your clients are. They don't really care.
Here's two events that are just a given. Trunk or treat. Our office always puts on trunk or treat. Cost you nothing. Now we love it when you host a trunk and you give out candy and help us put it on. But everybody's invited to invite their clients to that. We'll organize it. We'll execute it. I mean, it's all hands on deck, but it's fun and it's right here. So that's one thing you can invite them to. So that'd be one of your events. Also the barn party that we have, we didn't have it last year because of all kinds of crazy reasons, but the barn party that we usually have out in Harrisonville, it's a fundraising event. It's for a good cause. And so that's 2 events right there. You can do, if you know a fundraising event, if you know, I know one agent, she's not with KW, but she hosts community like bingo sessions, like in local restaurants around here. And she hosts a bingo and all the proceeds go to a charity. She changes the charity every month. And so a lot of people come because they love to play bingo. The business loves it because they get people buy their food, and then the charity wins. So, and
I did one of my kids, well, actually my birthday party, I rented a giant water slide into a slip and slide, and my friends brought their kids and we just had a whole day.
it could be whatever you want. It could be whatever you want, whatever your personality is. It could be so much, it could be so simple as just to say it's a picnic in the park for my VIP, for all my VIPs. Just call them VIPs. They don't have to be clients. They can be friends, family, neighbors. It could be anybody in your world that you would classify as a VIP. They can be past clients. It could be potential clients. It could be hopefully you hope they're clients. Invite them. So don't overthink the events and don't underestimate the events either. Now, remember, it doesn't, The value isn't in the event itself, it's in the ask, it's in the invite. Invite people. Now, most of your people won't come to your event. Don't take it personal. They won't or can't, or they'd love to, but can't. But you ask them to come. And then, and some people really major on events. They love events. Cool. Again, I envy them. Wish I had more time and more money to work with, and probably could if I would might slow down enough to really put some thought to it. But events. And so you can invite them to the event, text them later about the event. You can email about the event. How many touches is that around one event? Then when it's over, you call and thank them that they came to the event. Or, hey, so sorry you missed the event. There's more touches. There's probably 5, 6, 7 touches around that event. If there was photos, you're the one, tell your photographer, send me the photos. Don't send them to those people directly. You're working for me. You're not, unless you work it out the photographer that they're trying to also gather information and contacts, that's between you and the photographer. But I don't do that. I'm hiring that photographer for an event for 2 hours to come into the park and take pictures of my people. Don't be asking them for their information. You're working for me. These are my people. Don't sell to my people right now. You're the photographer. And it's never been a problem, never. But then just say, hey, when you get them all edited, send them to me and I'll distribute them. They love that. Usually they're like, oh, that's easy. Then you get to follow up with a touch. You could even print out the photo. You could frame the photo. You could mail the photo. There's so many things you could do. So just put on your creative thinking cap and think, how can I maximize the event? Another thing you can do, put on a first-time home buyers class for people who have never bought a house before, or the home buying process, or let's selling your house made easy, something like that. Do a class. You could do it right here in our market center on a Saturday, on an evening, whenever. Reserve it so nobody else. No, it's not like anybody else will be here at the same time as you, probably. But just reserve it with the front desk and then have your event right here. Bring in a lender, talk about lending, talk about the home buying process. That costs you nothing. The lender will probably bring treats. And then, here's the deal. There might be 5 people in your seminar. Maybe, I don't know, it just depends. Maybe 5, maybe 6, I don't know. But the thing is, you get to talk through your database and call and invite them. And maybe it's somebody who's already bought a house, but they've got kids. They've got college kids or recent college grads that are wanting to buy their house. Okay, send your kids. It's open for anybody. Tell your neighbors, tell everybody, open for all. So anyway, are we cool on events? Yeah. Oh, okay. Thank you. Let's see what that says. Should we advertise our business at the event? Absolutely. And if so, how? Or is it just more about staying top of mind? Good question, Yelena. Absolutely. This is an event sponsored by your business. Absolutely. Wear your name tag, wear your t-shirt, whatever you're wearing. You are there as a realtor, loving on your people. So absolutely. So you can put up signage. People have banners made sometimes, with their team name, their whatever. You can have a banner made, a vinyl banner. Put out your promotional material, bring your lenders in. I don't know, just the way you advertise it is how you also put your real estate business in there. Okay, good question there. All right, now we're in the next column for promotional, direct mail, gift, postcards, newsletters, etc. So these are more so this is where I'm mailing out my birthday cards. You can do home anniversary cards. You can do anniversary cards. You can do sympathy cards. Like there's whatever's going on because you're tracking with them on Facebook. You see their dog died, unfortunately. And so maybe I'm going to send a card. I have a subscription to that AM cards. And it's kind of like, what's the other one? Send out cards. There's several of those that you can design the cards. So I'll go in Facebook and I'll find pictures of their dog, design a card and say, I'm so sorry. Or I don't know. I even will go and find, you can steal ideas from other cards, chat GPT it, whatever, and send them a card. I'm so sorry to hear about the passing of your sweet Gizmo. whoever it is, Fifi, I don't know, just, but they love that. When there's a new baby born, I use that same service and I collect pictures, either maternity pictures or whatever they're posting. And I'll make a card designed with those pictures. And then through AM cards, I don't know any of the others, but you can add a $2 bill to it. Honestly, I got that idea from Ryan and Stephanie. They do the same thing. I always sent the card. I never thought about the $2 bill. It's just kind of cool. You don't see $2 bills anymore. A new baby, here's a $2 bill. And I did that 2 or 3 times this year. And every time, here's what happens. If I didn't hear anything back, like I'd send the card and then didn't hear anything back, I would text, because these are younger people, they like to text, and say, hey, congrats, congrats again, because I've already said it once before, but congrats again on the new baby. I had a personalized card sent to your house. Have you received it yet? And both times they were like, no, that sounds so great. I'm excited to see it. No, it hasn't arrived, but I will tell you when it shows up. And then both families, when they got the card, they put it out. Like one family actually put it above the crib. There was a shelf up there and they put the card and the $2 bill right there and say, we got your card. And they put it on display in the nursery. Cool. Just a little extra touch. But that's something that would fit in that category. So be looking for ways to interact with these people. There's so many more than even 36 different ways you can interact with these people. Just put it in your mind. What you could do is just say, okay, and maybe you systemize in command. There's, again, this is a whole nother class, but you can come up with a touch where they say, okay, maybe this week I need to find something to send. Now you can do a mass mailing where you're sending everybody the same thing, like a newsletter, like a hard copy newsletter. You can do that and just send it to everybody. That would take care of that. Or are you going to go more personal where you, handwritten notes, or cards, sympathy cards, congrats cards, like, oh, there's just, if you will look for it, there's going to be more ways than you could even imagine or dream to interact with your people. And then optional additional touches there on the end. You could do giveaways. You can offer a giveaway, which I didn't think you could do. For the longest time, I was with a broker that said, no giveaways, no sweepstakes, no, bad, bad, bad. But after digging into what MREC actually says and talking with Darren's like, hey, I'm good with it. That's not how I interpret MREC's rules. And so if you wanted to say, like, hey, I know Tim gave away a pair of AirPods last year, like, hey, give me a call, get in my drawing. And so he put it out there and it brings people to you instead of you going to them. It still counts. That's a touch. So you could do some sort of a giveaway. And if you're doing an event, by the way, a lot of things, like if you're doing a picnic in the park or photos in the park, get a vendor to sponsor a giveaway prize. Come and win this smokeless barbecue pit and a whole s'mores kit to go with it. Come, you got to, enter, be present to win or something like that. Whatever. You can, okay, under additional, I like what it says, business spotlights and interviews. Go find your favorite burger place and interview the cook or the owner or interview somebody. What else? Home valuations. That's something I do sometimes throughout the year. Just do surprise CMAs for somebody that's kind of been in their house for a little bit, not realizing maybe how much equity they have in their house. They might be surprised. They bought the house back in 1998. I just promise you it's worth more today and probably more than they even realize. Do a surprise CMA. Like, hey, I'm working on, I had some extra time and I picked 4 people out of my, I don't even want to say database, but I picked 4 people that I thought I would just send random CMA. So no strings attached. Just wanted to let you know, this is what I think your house could be worth. What do you think? Ask for feedback. It starts a conversation. So just if you think that fits, just listed, just sold, updates from lenders, open houses. Every time you're doing an open house, maybe if it's in their neighborhood, say, hey, stop by. I'd love to see you. What else? Ask for reviews and testimonials. That was something we really hit in bold. Make sure you have a way to receive reviews and testimonials. And so set that up. If you haven't done that yet, get that set up through Google. Google's the best place. And I'm like, again, all these are little classes, mini classes we could have, but set yourself up on Google, Zillow, Facebook, all the kinds of places. And then ask your people, say, hey, just got this thing set up. Would you please leave me a great review? And give them the link so that make it easy for them. And then that helps you. And, you know, you can even say, hey, I'm giving $10 Starbucks cards to everybody who leaves me a review. You know, you can say a great review, but I would just say review. Giving a $10 Starbucks or gift card or Quick Trip, whatever, gift card to whoever leaves me a review. Would you help me out? So, and then obviously you could do a reverse bold 100, which, you know, some of us have done that. If you'd ever do holiday parties, if you do pop buys, that's something that didn't make the list. If you're a pop buy kind of person, not pot pie. A lot of people go, I like pot pies. No, pop buy, it's where you just pop by somebody's house and bring something to them. It could be a pie at the holidays. It could be something so simple. I know one year, I took washer fluid, a jug of, because I was on a budget, but I took a jug of washer fluid and an ice scraper, tied it all together with a cute little note saying, you know, I've got a clear view of the market or something like that, and I went and delivered it. Now I just did 10. I made up 10 and then I took them to 10 people. So 10 people got a pop by. I've done, one year for Valentine's Day. Again, same year, I was really getting intentional about my pop buys and I was trying to do one every month, 10 a month. So there would be 10 different people. But anyway, for Valentine's, I went and got a Pillsbury cake mix and a Pillsbury thing of icing. I put it in a cute little clear bag, tied a cute little bow on it and said, you know, something about the sweet life, or, you know, real estate is a piece of cake or something like that. And I took those out. I mean, it cost me $2.50, you know, and I did 10 of them. So that's another touch you can throw in there. Okay, how are we doing on time? We got 13 minutes. Okay, we didn't even get to this, but let's look at the database playbook. So this is the whole playbook. And this is kind of an afterthought. I wasn't going to do this, but it's really kind of good. So I thought whoever shows up, you're going to get the playbook. So let's do this. Sweet. All right. So I scanned it in to myself and we can kind of, I don't want to go over every page because you can definitely do that. But this is from Gary Keller. It comes in this book, The Millionaire Real Estate Agent Playbook, Volume 2. This just came out last year. You can order it on the Red store and it says $25. I can't remember if it's 25, it might be 30, but it says $25 back here if you want it. And the first play in the playbook is on your database. Now, I gave you the whole section. So, but it talks to you about, you know, there is a method to this and don't throw a bunch of money at this. By the way, the class was about a 36 touch. Do we understand that we can interact with our people 36 times? And again, through command, it actually, you can set up a smart plan that it will tell you every morning, you're calling, okay, I already took it down. You're calling everybody with C and K this week. It'll tell you that if you tell it to tell you that. It will tell you, you need to send birthday cards to these people. Again, you have to tell it to tell you that, but it will. It could say, you're hosting an event, again, because you told it you're hosting a spring event in the park. You know, it's time to send out the invitations. It all depends on how much you tell it. But the more you tell it, the more it will help you and remind you. So it's really up to you and your discretion, your time, how much you want to put in is how much you'll get out. Just know that command will do that. It'll remind you every day when you log in, these are your tasks for today. I can talk to you about that later. Joe and Paul can talk to you about that later. We can have classes on it, whatever, because it's really pretty cool. And there's also online stuff you can learn, 66-day challenge and other things I'm happy to share. But anyway, there is a whole method to this. We're going to do the math. So we're slow to spend. Nurture the leads we already have. Don't go spending a bunch of money trying to connect with people we don't know. You do whatever you need to do, but I would say don't buy leads. Leads are hard. People do it, and some people, you have to work that. That's a whole nother playbook, and you have to run those leads at a very high level, and they're very expensive. and you're getting a bunch of crabby, grumpy people. They're going, why are you calling me? Where did you get my name and number? Who are you? Never call me again. And you just paid $150 for that lead or whatever. It all depends. Sometimes they're cheaper, sometimes they're even more than that. Step 3, increase the quality of your SOI touches. So improve those conversion rates. Those people, everybody in your database lives in a house. And they know other people that live in houses. So let's improve our conversion rates and dig into it and find the gold that's in our database by being more strategic in what we're doing and how we're interacting and the frequency of our touches. And then step 4, inspect what you expect. Review what you're doing and how you're doing it in order to improve the results that you're getting. So if you're not getting great results, let's dig in together and see, what are you doing? How often are you doing it? What are you saying? That kind of stuff. And let's see if we can improve on any of that. And it kind of goes through it. I'm not going to go through, do the math. You guys can read through this first part. I think step 3 is where I wanted to, because you guys can do this on your own. But the cool thing is if you can figure out how many people are in your database, it can kind of give you an idea of how much you can expect how much business you can expect. Just based on stats and history. But step 2, determine your current and total database conversion rate. Again, how many contacts do you have in there and how many number of transactions you closed last year? If you didn't close any, then this to be determined for you. But step 3, that's more where I wanted to go with this. Let's see, okay, not that 3, this other 3. This one, increase the quality of your SOI touches. Now in this, if you buy the book, you get the color version. The color version is way better than the black and white version.
What is SOI?
Great question. What is SOI? Who can help her out? Your sphere of influence.
Oh,
Yes, great question. Thank you for asking. Your sphere of influence, people that you already know, people around you, your circle. Okay, we would love to all increase the amount of repeat and referral business that we receive. In order to do so, we have to focus on 2 levers: the quality of the touches that we're making and the frequency that we're making. So yes, we're going to interact with them 36 times a year, but let's do our best to make them quality interactions. Now, maybe every interaction is not going to be a 5-star quality, but we hope most of them are pretty good there. And so let's see. It says, when we nail both levers, we're running amazingly powerful touch programs. When we miss on either, we are going to diminish our results. And the number of repeat and referral customers that we get to work with determines a large part of our compensation. In the book, Wealthy Gardener by John Saforic, he defines compensation as something we get for something we give. Repayment for a contribution that is needed and useful. So think about, are you being needed? Are you being useful? Are you coming from contribution? Or what we're saying, is it needed and useful? And which ones are not? And by removing the touches that do not fit into either of those 2 categories and replacing them with touches that do, our touch programs improve, and so do our conversion rates. Here's an example or picture. It is common for real estate agents to send out those postcards that have timed messages that say it's time for your spring cleanup or 5 ways to get ready for the spring. Atlanta, Georgia agent Anna Kalinsky decided that instead of sending a static card that provides little to no value, she would instead hand deliver 10,000 leaf bags with her team name on it. That's a different way to think of it, huh? So that's her leaf bags right there. And she says, there's a dog peeing on them. Yes. He didn't find, well, maybe he does find it useful. But it says at the end of this database assessment playbook, you will find a list of touches that we have found that you may want to add to your touch program. So that's the next page, the next couple of pages. I got 5 minutes. So read through this, but look on page 27 there. It starts on 27. There are pages of ideas of unique touches. So these things were sourced from the agents in Gary's mastermind. So when you do a lot of business in this company, you get invited to go hang out with Gary Keller. He has masterminds. He has his top 100 agents from the company. They get invited to go to Austin and they get to sit in a room with Gary. I think he has his top 200. He's got different little groups of people. Well, these were sourced from those kind of masterminds from the top agents in our company. So you can look at those. Some of them are pricey, some are not, but don't get stuck. There's always a way around. It's kind of like, you know, we're problem solvers. If you want to do an event, find a way to do the event. How many sponsors do you need to help come sponsor that thing and get the money that you need? If you're a sports person and you like fantasy football or March Madness is coming up. Maybe you organize a bracket. That'll cost you nothing. And it gets you involved in interacting with the other sports nuts out there in your group. So you can just kind of see, it's kind of cool to see what's going on there. And here's the thing, guys, it doesn't have to be crazy expensive. But check it out. Does any of those jump out off the page at you? Any of those look kind of cool that you, what's that? Shredding party. Yes. Yes. Have a vendor sponsor whatever it costs to bring a shredding truck. Have your people bring whatever they want shredded, and you get to hang out and talk to them. And I've seen some where they put a dumpster. Somebody will get a dumpster and park it in a neighborhood or something and invite all the neighbors to come and dump their big bulky stuff.
I like the ice cream truck because I live out in the country and the kids in our area, there's not a ton of kids, but we don't ever see an ice cream truck in our area ever.
Yes.
So that's kind of really opportunity.
Yeah.
Recycling.
Yeah. Electronics recycling, because you can't just put a big screen TV in the trash. So yeah, you hang on to those things. Another one I've seen is like paint and like old oil and old paints. Like, what do they call that? Toxic waste or something like that. You got to dispose of that carefully too. Like if you can solve somebody's problem and you know, be a part of their solution, they're going to think, wow, that's really cool. Look at Glenda. That's cool. I never would have thought of that. Who does that? Because how many times do you have an old broken down recliner that you can't, the trash won't come get it, or you don't have a truck to haul it off and nowhere to take it. It'd be so, I don't know. It's just kind of cool. Everybody's got stuff like that.
Something on the mastermind call recently, and it really hit, and I can't remember how you articulated it, but it's something that I think ultimate goal is to get in front of them.
Yep.
Basically, to get that appointment.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be in front of them.
To get in front of them. If they will get in front of you and you can get in front of them, that conversion rate of converting them into a client goes way up. So think about, like, there's different levels of interaction. Just sending out a mass text that says happy cheeseburger day, very low on the value. You could go buy a cheeseburger and deliver it to somebody that you know, your neighbor, your boss, your somebody, I don't know. They do. And if you spread the wealth, and maybe you say, hey, I only have this much money. Okay, only buy 5 cheeseburgers and take a picture of it and post it. When the person comes out of their house, go, hey, can we snap a picture with their cheeseburger and be goofy with it and go, here, cheese, snap. And then you post it. I had so much fun delivering cheeseburgers to people today. So you leverage that thing. That level of, instead of just happy cheeseburger day, has now been elevated. Or I have a table at Johnny's Tavern for 10 people. Who would like to join me? Me and my favorite lender who's paying the bill. Do you see how there's different ways to elevate these things? Or Jenny, maybe you have a cheeseburger cooking class at your house around the grill or the smoker or whatever you're doing there.
Yeah.
How to cook, and maybe you make a video for social media. That's a whole nother thing we didn't touch here. How to make the perfect cheeseburger on your Blackstone. Any other questions before I have to wrap up? Does this help? Does this take the scary out of 36 touches a year?
So we're saying you're only 30, I'm used to that, like 36 touches to each person in.
To
your-
each person in your database. Because the studies show that if you can get in front of these people or touch them, which I know is a weird word. Well, when I came in, it was called a drip campaign. I'm like, we're dripping on them 36 times. I'm like, that's not any better. So, yeah, if you can interact with them 36 times, your name shows up in their world, text, calls, emails, 36 times a year, the mail, the email. Social media just bonus to all of that. But if we can get this in a systematic way where it's just firing on its own, or, because here's the thing, when you get up in the morning, this tells you what you're doing. A lot of us were like, what am I gonna do today? I could go to class. Well, I could go do this. Well, I could, well, what, you know what? Follow this. Have I sent out my monthly market update have you sent out my email? No, I haven't. Let me figure out what I'm gonna send. It gives you some direction every day, or at least every week, what you need to get done that week. So if you want the digital copy of this, let me know. I'm happy to share it. Like I said, then that way you can make it your own. You could fill in the blanks, or if that works for you too, whatever you want to do there. You would like the digital copy? Yep. All right.
While you're sending stuff out, there is a document that I can't find anywhere that I think I got from you in a very tiny.
Okay.
It's everywhere your home is advertised. You know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah, let me think where I have that at. Like the IDX, like when you put your house on the market,
Sure.
here's where all the places it goes.
But I can't enlarge it.
Okay. I'll look for that.
Okay.
I don't know off the top of my head, but I will look for it.
I'm curious what that is.
So when you put, when we put a house on the MLS, it populates to
Yeah.
so many different websites. I think it's like over 300 different places. And so there's a list that, so you, when you're talking to your sellers, you can say, hey, this is, let me find it.
And it's all just website.
Gotcha. All right, we're gonna